Okay, so hello guys and welcome back to another video in our channel, and welcome back to our video today. Now in our video today I want us to kind of talk about the last game that the game that was played today early in the morning, and that is the game between Manchester City and Chelsea. Again, this game was quite interesting, and a lot of fans really have controversial views and opinions about this game, and I want to tactically analyze this game and explain to you what I took out from this game. Now in this game is that Chelsea actually managed to lose this game 4-3. Chelsea managed to 4-2. Chelsea lost this game 4-2, and it was quite interesting how Chelsea lost this game. And I'm not just going to sit here and talk about the scoreline, but rather I'm going to sit here and talk about the overall performance in the game. And I'm actually going to even talk about what I think are the problems, and what can I make out with regards to Enzo Maresca's time at Chelsea. And that is what I want to delve into and I want to talk about. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about in this game is I want to first talk about what we saw that was pre-match. And what happened pre-match is looking at the lineups. Now, the lineups of these teams were quite interesting, and I want us to just go through the lineups. Now, this is the tactical board. This is the tactical board, and I want to explain what I made out of these lineups. Now, before even I begin my analysis, I want to remind you again to kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are actually aiming to get to 10,000 subscribers before the Premier League starts, and the Premier League will probably start next week on Friday. So please, if you're watching this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to help us continue with this good work. Now, both Chelsea and Manchester City started with a 4-2-3-1 formation. But before I even start talking about Chelsea, I want us to talk about Manchester City's lineup. Now, when you look at the screen, you can be able to see Manchester City's lineup. You're able to see the positions of key players in that Manchester City lineup. Like, for example, you can be able to see that Ortega started ahead of Ederson, meaning that is a second goalkeeper to Ederson. Rico Lewis started. Kyle Walker is the one who usually plays there. Calvin Phillips, who's a midfielder, was actually started at centre-back. You expect Ruben Diaz or John Stones or Akanji to play there. Vardiol also started here, a position where you expect Nathan Ake to play. Left back, you had Wilson. Nathan Ake plays there. We didn't have Rodri in midfield. We had only Kovacic, and really Oscar Bob, Mancity, and Grealish and Haaland. So you can only make out that only around 3 players plays for Manchester City's starting 11. That is Haaland, Grealish, Kovacic, and Vardiol. You don't have Bernardo Silva. You don't have Walker. You don't have Rodri. You don't have Ruben Diaz. You don't have Kanji. You don't have Jeremy Doku. You don't have De Bruyne. So there's a lot of players who are missing for Manchester City. But Manchester City still showcased why Guardiola's philosophy has actually been taken over in the academy level of Manchester City, indicating how Guardiola has managed to actually create a system whereby he's able to ingrain his tactical philosophy in the team. Now, when you look at that, you come to notice that this wasn't quite a strong lineup, but on paper. But on the ground, Manchester City were ruthless with their chances. Now, let's move on to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, you can say that this is probably one of their best lineups, though I have issues with, I will explain my issues with this lineup. So Sanchez started in goal, who's rumored to be Chelsea's next season's number 1, a player who lost his place to Petrovic last season. Reece James started, the club captain. Tosin started, Colwill started, Gusto started at left back. Then we saw the huge change that happened. That is Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo Fernandez all starting in midfield, the 3 of them. Dewsbury Hall starting at left wing, Mudryk starting at right wing, and Nkunku starting up front. Now, when you look at both of these teams, 2 teams on paper, you'd expect that Chelsea is the stronger team, but Manchester City actually proved Chelsea wrong. And I want to first talk about the initial parts of the game. So in the initial parts of the game, Chelsea actually managed to concede 2 goals inside the first 4 minutes of the game. This was because Erling Haaland was quite deadly and was quite Haaland was quite deadly and was quite potent in front of goal. And this further indicates how Chelsea actually are struggling defensively. And I'm going to explain why. Now, I want us to look at the first goal that Manchester City scored in this game. I want us to look at the first goal that Manchester City scored in this game. Now, the first goal that Manchester City scored in this game was actually a penalty. A penalty that was given sillily by Colwell, and this resulted from a mistake from Tosin. And this mistake came from when Chelsea were actually building from the back. And this is a problem that Chelsea are actually experiencing in this team. Remember, Maresca actually wants a philosophy whereby Chelsea are able to build from the back all the way to the attacking areas. And because Chelsea are supposed to build from the back all the way to the attacking areas, if they meet a team that is organized with their pressing, remember, Manchester City play this game for years. They have been playing like this under Pep for close to 8 years. So the philosophy of pressing, the philosophy of creating pressing trap is something that Manchester City have done. So Chelsea are actually learning how to do it. And because Chelsea are learning how to do it, they are bound to make mistakes. And actually, I'm happy that the mistakes actually happened in preseason and they can actually be corrected in preseason. Now, because of that mistake, Tosin and Sanchez had a miscommunication and Haaland managed to intercept the ball. And because Haaland intercepted the ball, it made Colwell to actually create a foul that led to Manchester City scoring the initial goal. This is the second goal. Look at this mistake. Now, Caicedo in this position has actually come in, and Caicedo is quite rusty. Now, Caicedo makes a half-hearted pass trying to pass the ball onto Tosin. The problem is Caicedo did not manage to actually look at where he was receiving the ball. Let me replay this again. So Reece James plays the ball to Caicedo. Caicedo has not even checked where he's passing the ball. He's actually passing the ball with his weak foot. Rather than just passing the ball directly to the goalkeeper here, he manages to pass the ball half-heartedly to a position where Haaland can actually intercept. If Caicedo was smart enough, he should have kicked the ball with a lot of pace towards Robert Sanchez or kicked the ball towards the left-hand side. If Caicedo managed to play this ball towards Levi Colwill in that direction, even making a flick pass towards Colwill's path, then Manchester City's team would have already been overrun. But Caicedo made this mistake, passed the ball on to Haaland, a very easy ball to Haaland, and Haaland manages to put Manchester City 2-0 up. So when you look at the situation, you cannot say it is a coaching problem, but rather it is a personnel problem, meaning that Chelsea actually managed to make silly mistakes during build-up of this game. Let's look at another goal that Chelsea conceded, and Manchester City immediately went 2-0 up. Now, let me bring you back to the tactical board. Now, the tactical board, I'm bringing the tactical board back is because I want to explain how how Maresca's lineup was actually a problem. I did not agree with the lineup. Number one, I did not agree with the lineup because, first of all, I was not able, the number of midfielders in that game were too many. The midfielders were too many for my liking. And this actually killed the attacking players because now, remember, Enzo Fernandez has started, Caicedo has started, Lavia has started. And in my opinion, these three players, they should start at most two of them. At most, two of them should start. And this is what actually brought problems to Chelsea. Now, when you look at this lineup, you realize one thing, that even after Chelsea already went 1-0 up, Manchester City just decided to sit in a mid-block 4-4-2, looking to try and press Chelsea and actually try to get Chelsea when they lost the ball. So Manchester City are in a 4-4-2 mid-block when they don't have possession, with the likes of Haaland and Mancity actually looking to impact the pressure. Now, the problem with Chelsea in this system is because now, when Chelsea had the ball, what you will see is that when Chelsea had the ball, this is the problem that I want to explain to you. And Maresca should not repeat this problem in at the Premier League. Now, Dewsbury Hall, who was playing as the left winger, was actually not hugging the touchline as what we expect in Enzo Maresca's left wing position. No. He wasn't hugging the touchline, but rather he was moving into this position in the half space, the position where he's supposed to occupy. Now, when Lewis Brihol was occupying this position, Nkunku was supposed to occupy the 9 position. But Nkunku, when he was playing, he was not playing that 9 position, but rather was hovering around this slash number 10 position. So the number 9 position had no one. Mudryk on this side was having the touchline down the right, and Enzo Fernandez was occupying this position in the right half space. This triggered that Gusto was the one who was supposed to generate the width down the left. Now, here is where I have the problem. Now, when you look at this attacking structure, Mudryk is not a good dribbler of the ball. And majority of the times when he went against Wilson, whenever he had the ball and tried to go up against Wilson, let's use this scenario, what you'll notice is that even if he tried to dribble past Wilson like this, Wilson will manage to beat him in that dribble. And you actually notice that Mudryk was very, very poor in the first half. That is something that you all noticed. And so this passing channel was really, really creating a problem. And because Wilson was very ready to take care of Mudryk, what you realize is that now these 2 midfielders will actually sit on Dewsbury Hall and Enzo Fernandez. And because the Manchester City actually narrowed their lines, in this case, we started to see Fernandez actually coming out to receive the ball here. Now, let's look at the back line. So this ensured that this made Caicedo and Lavia to play as the 2 pivots together. And I think that Lavia, out of the 2 players, Lavia played the best. And this is because Lavia has been played in preseason, so we shouldn't be surprised. So, because another thing was Enzo Fernandez, who was supposed to occupy this position here. Rather than occupying this position here, he would move to come out of this position. So he will come out of this position to receive the ball in this position here. Now, when he receives the ball in this position here, he will just draw Grealish, and then he will find the ball, pass the ball on to Mudryk. But Mudryk now will be covered with Wilson, and Mateo Kovacic will have the space to actually cover and double up over him. And this is a problem because when Nkunku plays in this position, he knows how to occupy this position. And this raises a question that actually there are some powerful forces in the club that are actually forcing Enzo Maresca to pick a team based on the club politics. That is, picking Fernandez, picking Caicedo, who have not yet played well. The club wants them to be key starters in the team, but they are actually affecting the overall balance of the team. Somebody like Fernandez, because Fernandez should actually be the one to occupy this position here. But when Cole Palmer comes, he will actually do it. Now, because Fernandez is supposed to occupy this position here and he was leaving, now Chelsea were easily matched by Manchester City 4v4 at the back. 4v4 at the back. Now, let's look at the left-hand side. Now, at the left-hand side, it was also quite interesting because, let me get the ball. Because when Colwill was actually moving to play the ball towards Gusto, we noticed also another thing. Down the left. And down the left is, when Gusto had the ball, Gusto was not so good on the ball. And I cannot blame him. Number one, Gusto is not a winger. So in this position, he was afraid of taking the fullback on. That is one thing. He was afraid of taking the fullback on because he plays like a traditional fullback. So whenever the fullback actually approached him, what Gusto will do is he will make this pass. So he will make this back pass here. Pass the ball back towards the center back. And that is something that we saw time and time again in this game. And because Gusto was making that backward pass, Chelsea were very ineffective in this position. And Dewsbury Hall would not be able to make any effect. Another thing was that because Nkunku was not actually occupying the center backs and was looking to try and drop deep, what will happen is that even if Gusto would receive the ball in this position and Dewsbury Hall would be picking up Rico Lewis in this position, what you will notice is that Gusto would come into this position here and attempt to have a cross. But even if he tried to have a cross, Enzo was not attacking the box. Mudryk was in the far post area and Nkunku was also not there. So whenever he tried to play this cross towards this position, you will see the center backs actually intercepting the ball. And this really made it difficult for Chelsea to actually look to progress with the ball higher up the pitch. And these are some of the examples that I'm explaining to you why Chelsea actually suffered when they tried to actually play the game in this kind of format. And this is how Manchester City actually managed to beat them. And I was so happy because in the second half, Maresca understood the problem. So what changes did Maresca do in the second half? He got rid of Mudryk and he brought in Noni Madueke down the right. Now, when you have Noni Madueke down the right, what you have is that now you have pace and you have dribbling ability. So now the Manchester City fullbacks were actually having a problem. Another thing that he also did is, let me kindly check here quickly how the substitutions went. Let me check the substitution. I want to look at who was taken out for Raheem Sterling to come in. I want to check the substitutions quickly. So, I think it was Caicedo who was taken out. Caicedo was the one who was taken out so that Raheem Sterling could actually come in. So Caicedo came out for Sterling. So this is goal number 2, goal number 1. So before McGaughey came, Skabob, Noni Madueke for Mikhailo Mudryk, and Caicedo. So Caicedo was actually taken out. So here is the position of Moises Caicedo. Caicedo was taken out and Raheem Sterling came in. So Raheem Sterling came in. And now Gusto actually moved to the inverted position. Now, when you have Gusto in this position, Chelsea were much better. But again, Chelsea made some silly mistakes at the back that saw Manchester City actually coming back and actually hunting them with scoring a goal. And even when Chelsea played with Sterling and Noni Madueke, now Chelsea had this threat of two players who are wide and who are dribblers. So this will stretch the back line. But another problem is that now the centre backs who are not afraid to actually go man to man and have one midfielder dropping deep is because Nkunku's position. And that's why later on in the game, when Fernandes was taken out and actually Nkunku moved towards the left and McGaughey came in to play as the number 9, what you'll realize is that now they had a number 9 who knew how to play as a number 9. So Guehi will play in this position, occupy the two center backs in these positions like this, and now you will see Deuce Brihol and Christopher Nkunku actually have space. And how Chelsea managed to score the third goal was because Lavia received the ball in this position. The position of Nkunku actually drew in a fullback, and Lavia was able to play a quick pass on to Noni Madueke, who was making the runs, and Noni Madueke managed to score and actually managed to assist. Now, what I'm talking about here in this philosophy is that Chelsea should not be playing all Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Lavia in the same game. That should not happen. That is my first taking point. Maresca should choose two of them. Either he's playing Caicedo and Lavia, or either he's playing Enzo Fernandez and Lavia. He should pick. Number 2, Chelsea need to have attacking wingers. And I have always explained, and I'm going to do a video of why positional play is, why Chelsea will be deadly with positional play system. When they have two wingers, they have players who are very good at 1v1 duels, and they are very good, they are very fast. So when you have Sterling and Noni Madueke in these wide channels, what you have is that you have players who are very fast, players who are able to receive the ball and actually look to take on their fullbacks. So these players are able to receive the ball, make dummy runs past their fullbacks, and actually manage to find themselves in attacking positions. Another thing, when you have them here, you're able to actually stretch the opposition defense, because if the defense was playing narrow like this, and then you have Sterling and Madueke looking to receive the ball in the wide areas, what you're going to realize is because they are so deadly and they're actually cutting in with their stronger foot, fullbacks will actually come out. And when fullbacks actually come out, you'll realize that actually spaces will be opening up in these half space regions where you can have players such as Kiran Deuce Brihol and Christopher Nkunku actually coming in to occupy this position. And not only Christopher Nkunku and Deuce Brihol will be coming to occupy this position, you'll also realize that you'll have players such as Cole Palmer actually coming in and occupying those positions. So what are my final remarks with regards to, what are my final remarks when it comes to this overall, this performance of that we saw yesterday? My remarks are that I'm actually, let me say that the performance errors actually contributed to Chelsea's horrible scoreline, and that is the first 4 minutes of the game. And the other, in the second half, we also had a period in around 5 minutes where Chelsea lost concentration. So Chelsea need to increase their concentration throughout the game. So the blame squarely lies on the manager, it squarely lies on the players, it squarely lies on the team. But it is good if these mistakes are actually being made in pre-season. Number 1, I'll have to make blame for the lineup. I did not agree with the three midfielders starting together. Number two, I had a problem with wingers missing in this game, Sterling and Madueke. Number three, I had a problem with the striker not playing in this game. Christopher Nkunku's position is not a number 9. He plays in behind a number 9. Number four, I also had a problem with the position of Gusto playing as a left winger. And let's try and create a system whereby we can either play Lavia and Caicedo, or Lavia and Fernandez, or Enzo and Caicedo, and we actually give the team balance. We don't take away the attack so that we can try and play players. I hope the board is going to allow Enzo Maresca to actually play players who are good at their position, and rather not to try and influence him to play their prized assets. Overall, I think it's a good start. Tosin Adarabio needs to improve his game. The defense really failed Chelsea, especially during build-up. Also, Colwell needs to improve their game well. And overall, I can say that that performance was not quite the best, but there is always room for improvement. So leave your comments in the comment section down below if you think that there's any other thing that you need to do in regards to try and analyze Chelsea and see how Chelsea can actually look to improve from where they are. I thank you for watching this video till the end. Do not forget to also like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.